Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Penn State's league coverage of the PSU LCS playoffs, where today, as the start of our quarterfinals series of the bracket, we have running it down versus King Kong versus Godzilla. Is just the two teams, not three there by the names, but a white conference showdown with the number 2 seed from white facing off against the number 4 seed from the conference, as we are getting on into draft. Once again, I am Infamous Trash, joined here by Vale. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
And we are into picks and bans. I mean, of course, we have seen the draft already, given it's been third-partied. And it's shaping up to be a bit of an interesting one. Graves and Heckern currently sitting on the ban table, whereas Jax currently targeted towards Aiden alongside the Darius. Not something that is super uncommon to ban against KKG.
Yeah, as the draft progresses here, we'll see more and more interesting picks. Specifically looking at KKG's draft, there's a couple picks that I wouldn't expect from them, and some that are just downright strange, in my opinion, that we can talk about.
Yeah,
but from the other side,
so.
too, there are some good ones, too. We'll let it progress here before we discuss more.
Yep, Kindred gonna be the lock-in for Billy. I actually don't know if I've ever seen Billy play Kindred. We've seen his Lee Sin dozens of times in the PSU LCS. We've seen his Graves, which is a staple pick, but Kindred might be a little bit of a new one for a jungle pick. Still fits that carry jungle style of play that he is so commonly seen. And then, yeah, we get some interesting matchups here in mid and bot lane. I think that's
Yeah, I think the ones I want to talk about is, for KKG, it's the Vi pick. I mean, Vi, again, if you haven't watched Arcane on the stream, I won't spoil anything, but it's a great show. I think you should watch it. But that champion, despite how cool she is in the show, that champion still sucks in, like, the actual game. She's super telegraphed, she only can do one thing, and especially playing against Kindred, Tarek, Lissandra, like, how are you going to ever play? But then again, Lux is like a great pick here too, because Lux recently got a buff to her E damage and her ult cooldown. So I believe at like rank 1 ultimate, if you have enough ability paste, your ult is already at like a 30-second cooldown. So you can essentially use it for wave clear, and also your E, if you place it right, is undodgeable.
it is quite undodgeable.
Sona is something that we've been seeing pop up more, got a huge buff. Basically infinitely scales now with her passive mechanic. And then I like the Tarek pick that we don't see often too. Pretty strong champion, especially into the likes of Vi, especially.
Yep. Very good pick into these heavy engaged champs. Really hard for Tom Ketch to play it as well, because he can't really easily W into a backline or anyone that Tarek's really bound into with the E. Just going to stun him up. And, I mean, maybe not take him down. Tom Ketch is a bit of a tanky boy. Certainly should be able to hold his own here against Comrade playing on the Malphite pick, but both top laners looking for more of those, I guess you could say, utility tanks for the most part. Tom Kench doing a little bit more of the damage, Malphite setting up a lot more of the team fights. And as we get to that topic, let's talk about some team fighting here, because running it down has a quite brutally lethal comp. You got 2 AD carries in Jhin and Kindred. One can be better at the taking down the tanks, one going to burst down your squishies with impunity. Tarek ulti for immunity, Kindred ulti for immunity, you have Malphite ult for engage, and then Lissandra as well for follow-up and flanks.
Yeah, I think the story of how this game should play out is that KKG should not look for team fights. They should look for picks. With Lux, Sona, and Vi, they have a very strong pick with the Misfortune follow-up if any of them CC. And that should be how they play it. Especially because Lux counters basically everyone on the side of running it down besides Malphite. So if she can catch someone with her Q and then there's a Misfortune near her, she's strong enough to just one-shot them. That's a strong way to potentially set up an objective fight.
Yeah, you're going to be looking for previous number advantages based on picks, based on if someone overextends a little bit, maybe a poor flank from Lissandra, that spot out in the backline just gets bursted down, taken out before the enemy team can really get on top of you. Certainly an angle to look, of course. With nameplates on, a few other things come up. Aiden, the coin flip top laner of White Conference. The 14-1 God or the 1-14 Wait. depending on what the game state is, certainly can look to carry. Yes, is on Tom Kench, which isn't what you'd consider classic carry, but if this Tom Kench gets to the point where he is just super duper ahead out of laning phase, we're looking at, the 4-0, 6-0 line with a CS advantage, it is going to be very hard for anyone on RID to really be able to kill him. So you might be able to get some side lane pressure out of that. If you're looking for less of a super team fight style of play, you can run a 4-1 with that. Especially considering I believe you can go, it's not the greatest build path ever, but if you really want to go full split push Tom Kench, you can go something like the Titanic Hydra and still buff up your stats pretty heartedly. Get some extra wave clear. We are loading on into game.
So we have some interesting rune choices here that I want to talk about. I don't know what Vi takes normally. I think Hailwade seems fine with the Conqueror nerfs. Dark Harvest is definitely not the pick on Lux. You want Comet, typically, or Electrocute if you wanted to go for more of a one-shot build. I don't like Lethality MF this game. You're going to be doing no damage, it feels like. Since you're supposed to be the main consistent damage, I'd like to see just crit MF normally.
Yeah, someone's going to have to be killing Malphite. Tark's going to get very tanky as the game goes on. Very hard to take down, especially with all the healing and shielding he provides. Lysandra as well builds a lot of health items despite being a mage.
Yeah, this too, on top of the Lysandra taking Aftershock, which I think is a mistake too.
Yeah, that's
She's never going to proc it against Lux if the Lux plays correctly. In lane, it's going to be a useless rune. So I think Comet is usually good against ranged matchups as Lysandra. Or Electrocute is good against melees.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the other problem is the Aftershock. Still from like late season 8, early season 9 Aftershock nerfs with Lysandra still in effect. Still works the same way where you're not getting as much resistance bonuses as you used to in this champion's heyday in competitive play. Still can be very good. Still is used as a counter pick. We've seen it in pro play even at Worlds this year, specifically into LeBlanc. Of course, not the matchup we have here today. Not even close to the same playable matchup. Is going to be outranged, outpoked, and pretty much outdamaged by Lux at most points of the game.
I'd like to see what Star Wars Geek starts ability-wise. W seems correct. See, I have no idea how to play Vi, because I have not seen this champion in a game in probably like over 200 games. There's no one in like my elo bracket that plays it, and like they don't play it in pro, so I'm interested to see how this works.
I believe it's been cropping up a little bit more and more in solo queue.
I think entirely because Arcane.
Yeah, no, absolutely because of Arcane. 100%. Can't really blame too many people for that one. As we are going to get some jungle pathing going for red buff starts, so both junglers pathing to opposite sides of the map. Top lane going to be the target here for KKG, whereas Billy D and running it down, heading towards the bottom side of the map. We'll have to see if he wins the 50-50s. 88-80 gets onto Comrade Plane. One more stack will do it. Can't find it yet. I apologize for the missing auto attack glitch. This is what happens with spectator flying occasionally.
Level 2 in the bot lane. He misses out.
Next radio gonna take a good trade back. Plants that E. Almost falls to the 4th shot.
Yeah, something else I need to mention is the keystone on Taric I think is incorrect as well. I think Guardian is just way underrated, especially on like most supports. Aftershock, you're gonna only be able to proc it with your E, and that ability is really easy to dodge, as we saw Planzaddy able to do it out in the 2v2 there.
Yeah, and Revix right there again. Clean side.
You're gonna have a hard time proccing that, and especially against double ranged again.
Yeah, a lot of interesting runes. This is probably one of the few matchups we have in top lane here where Comet Malphite probably not going to be the best.
Yeah.
Tom Kench's health regen and sustain just. It's like the same theory with like set top and stuff. Mid lane, gank, Enders, rooted up, but has set it up nicely for Billy D to get in with the slows. Forces the flash out of TSB as the mark comes down. And successful gank mid. Flash out of the enemy mid laner, nothing really expended. They're looking to go contest that top side scuttle for the mark.
Yeah, Billy got a little unlucky here with the mark placement. Is even in farm after this crab take with Star Wars Geeks, but just a little unfortunate.
I mean, that's the 50-50 flip. You either get it or you don't. Didn't have the top prio as well to really hard to contest that one. Let's play Zaddy. Flash by J-Borgs. Doesn't find the kill just yet as Soda W takes a lot of that with the shield and the healing. So flash out of the running it down bot lane for nothing in return.
Yeah, that's what happens when you take Boot Start Jin. You actually do have no damage at all. And on top of that, Cookie's not really sure that we need that much sustain, especially since we have Tarek and Fleet Footwork. A little overkill in my opinion. But to each his own.
I mean, we'll give him plenty of sustain. Will not be ever getting poked out in this bot lane. Not possible. At least for the first few minutes till Biscuits runs out.
Yeah, I will only start talking about cookies if we have them still by the 10-minute mark.
Yeah. Before that, it is perfectly fine as long as you are using them. You get that extra mana, getting some form of lane sustain. Perfectly okay. CSB. Just gonna be trading Aaron to Ender. Of course, Lux W gives quite a bit of deceptive resistance to a lot of these all-ins.
You don't do any damage with Aftershock on Lysandra either, so you can never trade.
Yep, it's definitely a little bit of a rock and a hard place. Of course, Lysandra also 0 items, just running on scruffing pots. Not a lot of AP to go around for some of those higher scalings like the W, which
Lux
scales very well.
Yet to get a Dark Harvest stack as well, I'd like to point out.
Not much is going well for Enders here in mid. Bot lane pressure. Still for J-Morgs and Next Radio. So Star Wars he's possibly looking for a gank. Finds himself on Next Radio. Glad they try to help out. That Jin Trap though doing quite a bit with the extra slow. Playing Daddy Star Wars Geeks not able to over pursue. Enders tick 6. Might look for an all in here. Dark Harvest does go for TSB and wins out on the trade pretty handedly. Lysandra just not doing much of anything. And it looks like it will be the Dragon Fight instead. Star Wars Geeks finds Van Next Radio, stunned up, rooted up. Billy D here as well. And it's Star Wars Geeks, the overextension. The first blood goes over to the Tarek. The exhaust already down for Plants A. Billy D flashing forward as well. Plants A trying to get away with the heal, with the shield. Does so for now, but will they look for any type of follow-up damage now that Lysandra is here with the ultimate? Deadly Flourish doesn't hit. Flash forward by both as we're now in top lane with the all-in from Aiden. On to Comrade playing, who's going to try to work his way out of this one. Devour is available for the Tom Kench. Not going to use it just yet. Wants to try to get it. There's a suppression. Throwing him back into the belly. Takes the healing as a lot of damage here from minions. W not going to find its way as Comrade Plane does take the level 6.
I actually think if Comrade Plane ulted Aiden in there, he could have killed. It would have been very close.
It would have been really close.
He, as you saw, he got the attack speed slow with his E onto Aiden, and he was unable to basically auto him because you get like 0.3 attack speed when that happens to you, especially on someone like Tom Kench.
Yeah, I mean, it is always a little finicky because you do have that healing off of grass plus Q on Tom Kench, which makes it always interesting how much that champion heals off of in trades. A little deceptive.
Yeah.
But either way, both top players just gonna be content to stick to Slugfest. As with that first blood, nothing really comes of it. Looked like it might have been a loss of Dragon, but how low bot lane ended up getting in the subsequent trading. Running it down just has to let their support take first blood. And
lane could be in trouble here.
Yeah, could look for the dive. Is a little bit risky with Comrade Plane's movement speed.
Yeah, I would like to see Star Wars Leagues potentially path top here to just dive this.
Yep. That might be an angle. Looks like he wants to go towards his bot side camps. Just keep the farm coming as Billy D once again going to be skipping the Krug camps. Not going to bail his top laner out. Just going to continue on with kind of an awkward clear at this point. Now with bots camps are responding makes it a little bit easier. But you are going to get that split Krugs Gromp situation, which is never optimal for jungle. Once again, this time a little bit better trade from Enders. Has to expend the ultimate though.
I don't think Lysandra ever kills here.
There's not looking to be a kill by Star Wars. Yeah, now and as well. Enders has to flash away, and great Lux ultimate to secure the kill. Billy D now in the mix though, as there comes the Sultan battery. Root goes down. Billy D finally pops the by his TSB, trying to get away. Billy D doesn't want to get out of the ultimate just as Star Wars Geeks would get the kill pretty much guaranteed.
Oh, no.
The execute coming through doesn't find the Q, and Star Wars Geeks, oh no! Falls to towers. Comrade Blade coming in as well. Flashes forward looking for the ultimate, but a flash as well. And then he ults back into the
What's happening?
Tower. Oh. It is, we are straight gaming here at 12:30 p.m. game time.
No.
Oh,
Everyone's a
my
little
goodness.
groggy still from Saturday night, I think.
It is, yeah, it is definitely an interesting one. Ends up being the 1-for-1.
Man, what is Star Wars Geeks build? What is happening?
Oh, it's lethality vibe. Very good.
You gotta choose one, man. You gotta go tank or lethality is a great call.
it's the mix. He's gonna go. Let's see. Lethality into full tank. Clips into full tank for the sustain.
Yeah.
That's the build. That's the build path.
No
game.
stride breaker or anything.
No.
No utility.
We're here for damage.
True.
Curtain call was used here in the bot lane. J-Morg's not finding too much out of that. On to Revix. And Revix, I mean, as a player here for KKG, kind of the silent hero. Aiden is that big pop-off player that will just get you so far ahead in games, but if you're looking at this team's consistent performer, it is Revix. In pretty much all of their victories has been massively ahead in the bot lane, be able to find leads, play team fights extremely well. So, interesting to see how this game goes out. Does have a small CS lead here in the bot lane, nothing major. Of course, the gold probably equaled out with the kill onto Tarek. But a player to watch as this game goes forward. J-Morg as well, his counterpart over on running it down. One of this team's carries between him and Billy D. That is your core grouping. So the battle for the bot lane right now pretty even, but very important for the outcome of this.
I'd really like Billy D to go shield bow here.
Star Wars Geeks in trouble here. Gets the root with the Lux binding on a Billy D. Goes very low. TSB finally grabs the kill. The stun comes through, and it's trade 1-for-1 for now, but can Enders get away? Malphite is in here, and it's going to be a double kill over to the Lux. And that puts TSB up to 3-0.
Yeah, as I was saying, I'd like Billy D to go shield bow here. I think generally, on most AD carries, the Kraken Slayer is overkill for damage, and shield bow's survivability is way more valuable. Plus the lifesteal.
This game especially, I mean, if you can get through the Lux burst and the Vi burst, you're pretty much good to go. At that point on the Kindred, you're going to have the healing, you're going to have the sustain with the shield bow, so...
Abyssal Void
certainly
lands here.
Someone, yeah, Combat playing give me a little bit of trouble, doesn't have the ultimate spin, but I don't think Aiden... Oh, he's going to go for it, flashes under, there's the Devour, taking up the tower, and that's a solo kill outright in the top lane.
Yeah, that champ's a little balanced.
A little bit. And yeah, now the lead growing rapidly for the side of KKG, up 1,000 plus gold here in the early game as we take over to 12 minutes. Again, even in bot lane, but mid lane and top lane and jungle right now. It's not going too terribly well. His ability to look to continue to extend his lead over his counterpart. Finds some damage here onto the top edge. Waits for the mark to finish to get the kill. Very clean, sir.
Yeah,
Onto that one. And more action in bot lane. His next radio's found out. Star Wars Geeks looking for it.
Not sure why he didn't ult there. I think he could just still.
I mean, had the Tarek ult he was worried about, did expend that. As Enders, yeah, buddy, you don't win these trades anymore. This Lux has Ludens. That is not a good look. And Billy D also gonna grab another marker there onto the Gromp. So Kindred, the sole shining hope here for the side of running it down as we're coming out of the early game. As Star Wars Geeks does smite away the Gromp. He's in the middle of two people though, so looking a little bit rough next to radio. Yep, goes in with the assault and battery, trying to get into something else as J-Morgs grabs the kill, and a little bit of an interesting one. Not sure if he expected both those members to be there.
I think there he was a bit indecisive about if he wanted to fight or not. There you just need to choose, am I going to run away or am I just going to fight to the death?
And ends up being a fight to the death regardless. Does bring the gold lead back down with the kill onto Kindred, with the kill now onto J-Morg. Plants out, he grabs a great ultimate on next radio, who flashes out of the bullet time. Kill still goes over to Revix in the end with the flash to follow. Now J-Morg has to flash himself as the slows come through. Has the curtain call to try to get some extra damage down. If he finds a few of these, could grab a kill, but nothing going to be made. Gets Revix very low. Manages to walk that one out as Herald mid, just gonna grab a few plates for the trouble. Billy D, yeah, even grabs the turret off of it as well. So first turret taking down in mid lane, over to running it down. A little bit against the grain of what we were seeing in some of these early fights.
Yeah, oh, TP in the bot lane coming in here, actually.
Yeah, it's Ender. This is a little bit of a... Yeah, I mean, this has to be for a dragon play. There's nothing else they do it for. The bot lane isn't particularly gankable. So yeah, we'll just be a second dragon seeker for running it down. And gonna continue to try to get that soul stacking prowess. It's 15 minutes here for second Drake, so 25 minutes soul. Not too shabby. Combat plane. Whoa! Very respected flash.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
That was very respectful. Probably a little bit too much, but very respectful nonetheless. Now gold lead. With the dragon take, with some picks here in mid, in bot. Swinging back the way of running it down. Ender's just going to fearlessly walk up here. Grabs a root with the Everfrost, but it's a Taric gank, my guy. That's not a lot of gap closing ability that you have. Not a Nautilus, not a Thresh, not a Blitzcrank, something like that, which can really just close the distance quick. And
yeah, unfortunately, Billy did end up picking up the Kraken Slayer. I don't think he needs... If he has cut down, which he should this game, and then he gets LDR second item, he should just have enough anti-tank damage, and then you just get shield mode for the extra survivability and lifesteal.
Yep. On the other side is going to be the Eclipse on MF, so still going for that lethality route. I'm assuming it's going to be, yeah, Eclipse for Star Wars geeks as well, having that Vampiric Scepter in inventory. Fight here on the top side, though. Star Wars geeks is marked up. There comes the ultimate down on ability. Has popped the Lamb's fight, and that is very necessary as the root comes down. TSB can't get in the Lamb's fight. Now Star Wars geeks alone on the backside. It's a double kill over ability with the Marcus. Aiden joins the fray. Trying to find an ability. Ender's blocking the tongue lash and will grab the kill for his troubles. Plant and Zaddy trying to force up here onto J-Morgs as well. But it's a 3-0 over running it down on the top side jungle.
Yeah, really good trade there. Billy getting a lot of value. I think he had a markdown on one of the people as well.
He did. Oh, but he's stunned up. Has to flash. Doesn't want to give her that shutdown. The mark was on to Star Wars Geeks specifically. So did grab that one as well.
Yeah, as I was saying before the fight broke out, if Billy goes Collector here, I'd have to have a few words with him.
Billy D currently sitting at 6 marks. So almost at the second mark break point of the 7 marks, which gives you even more attack range and attack speed off of your Q, as well as some other bonuses. So stacking extremely well in the Kindred for this point in the game, only 17 minutes in. Already almost your second break point onto your passive. And from 5-1, I mean, Kindred is one of those snowball junglers that you talk about. Once you get lane pressure, once you get an early game going, can just completely scale up and into the later stages. As J-Morg's next to radio, possibly in trouble here. Star Wars Geeks in the area. One ulti from Vi can just lead to Lux completely annihilating you if you're in the same zip code. Billy D, though, looking to grab another kill here up to 888 on top lane. Has the mark down. Needs to wait for the W to come out as Devour comes through. Billy going very low. Might just fall instead. Great unstoppable force, and the kill does go over to Billy D yet again, and that will be his 7th mark in total.
Yeah, just taking over the game right now. Billy is going to be really hard for KKG to actually get back into this one, I think, especially with how little damage they can do in a team fight, which they running it down should be looking for.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure what the plan was there from Revix and Plants. I think looking onto a pick on a Billy and Comrade plane, but they don't have the pressure, they don't have the engage. You do not want to jump onto a 6-1 Kindred who now has LDR on top of Kraken Slayer.
Very good, very good. Only a little silly of a build with the Kraken Slayer. Just a little overkill on the armor.
It's just, yeah, it's just an overkill. I mean, you still do an absolutely ludicrous amount of damage, but survivability certainly something to think about. Of course, you do have the passive. I believe it's on. I forget what ability the second passive is on, but that does give you some healing in fights as you are able to move around, proc it with some damage.
Yep.
Third Drake, though, in 41 seconds, looking to probably be the deciding fight of this game. Is Running It Down has the team fight comp. They have the ability to force around these objectives. They are up 3,000 gold at 20 minutes, which isn't the largest lead we've seen in PSU LCS. Far from it at this point, but still a commanding one nonetheless, especially with where that gold is distributed onto the carries. So Kirkdog going to go out, pick possibly here onto plant side, but they find Aiden in the brush, and that means Billy D does not want to engage just yet. Wants the help of his big rock friend to be able to CC the Tom into oblivion. Next raid, just going to take a Luxie just for the heck of it.
Dragon is spawning here, so we're gonna see how strong Running It Down really is in a team fight, or if KKG can get picked.
Big engage here from Tom, finds two. Milan trying to immediately use the Vi ulti, calms down. Taric ulti as well used, so getting a little bit extra survivability. Lux ulti not gonna do anything as the inbounds come through. His combat play on the backline, massive two-man ultimate. Billy D though is down, the fed one is gone. Shut down on direct, but do they have the damage to follow up past that combat plane? Absolutely fiending for this Sona as the rest of his team completely gets obliterated. J-Morg's not long for the world as well. Triple kill for the MF. Make it the Quadra. Who even needs the full-on bullet time? Jay will limp away, and somehow, some way, Aiden, and the crew make it work for the team fight win.
Yeah, massive engage there from Aiden. Basically creating a pick instead of a team fight there, allowing them to just basically win out the fight, because Billy D basically did nothing because he was either having to hit Tom Kench or just like CC'd in his ultimate and then the Taric ultimate. Really good.
Yeah. I mean, basically blew all the team fight cooldowns with one ability, as well as Star Wars Geek's follow-up. Of course, Lux ult doesn't give me bullet time, doesn't do as much damage as it should, but the Sona ulti doing so much work that fight as well. I mean, you do have some team fighting prowess from these massive AoEs on the side of KKG, but I think quite a few misplays there by Running It Down as that one went through. Billy D and X-Ray committing a little bit too hard onto the pick for Plant Daddy without comrade play in the area, and then just a very poor layering of ultimates, not peeling for Billy, not really looking at that. Lysandra, not really even a force in that one, so.
Yeah, something I kind of underrated here is I assumed, oh, Billy D in trouble here?
Oh, am I behind you? I am.
I'm at 21:43.
Yep.
TSP is getting caught out here.
Absolutely
Did one
destroyed.
shot GameWorks though, just before that.
Star Wars Geeks gonna run away for a bit, but should be a-okay with the bot lane rotating up. This Misfortune now ludicrously fed with Sorrel does. Next radio has to pop the ultimate immediately as he flashes out, grabs the immunity for just a minute, but not likely going to save him as the bullet time comes through as well on the other side. Comrade Plane almost falls to that alone. Ender's in trouble. Star Wars Geeks finds the cube forward. The root comes down and gets the sun over the wall, but he is trapped between a tower and a hard place. Plants at 8 charges under, uses the ultimate on himself, but that turret is long gone, my friend, and another kill finds way onto Revex.
Yeah, something that I wanted to talk about before that exchange was that how I underrated the MF potentially, because I assumed she was going to go crit this game because of the frontline threat, but the thing about Lethality MF is she has such high like range value with her E and her ultimate, along with the Lux and the Sona, that I think that KKG actually might be able to take this one if it goes long enough, because range really counters Running It Down here. And especially in those corridors, it can really be hell with the Sona MF Lux combo.
Certainly so, especially when that Misfortune is pretty much 6-0 over one team fight. Sorrel does an inventory working on that third lethality item now. I'm assuming he's going to be a Yomu's Ghostblade if I had to take a guess, or maybe an Edge of Night.
Yeah, it's going to be
third?
Edge of Night because he
third?
has the Ruby Crystal.
Yeah, the Ruby Crystals in inventory, so yeah, Edge of Night. Just going to try to not get picked out, have a hard time for Enders for next radio. For Combat Plane to really find good, meaningful engage, of course. Malphite. If you're looking at something to deal with Revex on the MF, Malphite is your ticket. You ever press that bullet time before Malphite presses his R, you are in for a world of hurt on the Misfortune, because you are just going to be instantly knocked up and taken down.
Fighting the bot lane.
Yeah, Combat Plane not be alive to do much of that. Yeah. He knows he can't fight. He's 70 CS down, a full item in the hole. It is not going to be a very fun fight for the TK. And they're throwing out a very optimistic E on the turret. Curtain call comes out though from J-Morgs. They're going to look for this one on a TSB. He is very healthy, however, and J-Morgs will also miss most of the shots, so will just be at full HP. Does burn the TP out of Aiden, so meaningful summoner still expended in order to cover the dive potential. And with that running it down, not going to want to force the fight too far. Will just settle for being in the 1k gold deficit and continue to try to look for this dragon here in just a minute's time.
Yeah, the one thing that's unfortunate about KKG's comp here is they're a team comp that would love to just start the Baron and that have them come into like the Lux Sona MF combo, but they have no Baron damage because they have Lethality Misfortune. So it's kind of like a dyssynergy with like what their comp wants to do and what they can do.
Yeah, a little bit awkward, of course, not the end of the world. You can just look for the picks, can look to at least try to force running it down's hand and trying to check into the Baron if you can deny that vision. Of course, we haven't really seen too much deep vision from either team this game at all. I don't think any wards have been down in really either deep quadrants except for defensive ones.
Yeah, we have pretty low vision scores across the board here. Highest one being 45 on Plant Zaddy.
Yep, J-Morgs has to retreat here as Aiden advances. Billy D and Ender are both top sets, so it looks like running it down might just be content to give this one away. J-Morgs though. Gale Force out.
J-Morgs. Oh, Aiden going a little
yeah.
deep here.
That's a stun, buddy. You gotta flash it. That's the problem with diving in Taric, is you will pretty much get CC'd if you're on his AD carry. If you're the one committing into. As Comrade playing, just gonna watch there as the dragon falls. Top lane gonna be pushed in. Aiden stunned up, but there's not that much damage coming in on the TK, and there might be enough coming in on the Taric, because our next radio deleted. Plants a beautiful ultimate as well as Comrade Blade misses his. Planta, he gets away, and now the dive continues. There's the final spark. Combat Blade falls as well as the mid lane tier 1. The TP immediately channels to go defend this inhibitor turret. As they're going to look for the dive on a TSB. Immediately pressing Zanya's Ender's going to reset the aggro. They're looking to focus down this turret first. Finds the tomb and the kill, so it's going to be an inhibitor for an inhibitor more than likely.
This is going to be a base race, actually. Blue team could commit.
Blue team could look to try to commit. Still 25 seconds on Comrade's lane. 9-1 J-Morgs. If they want to go for the dive, they definitely could try. As
running
Nexus
it down is
turrets.
onto the Nexus turrets here.
Yeah, if Nexus Radio could stop them back, this might be a big problem. Going to stop the back of Plant Zaddy, but the rest
There's
looks like they're
Kindred.
going to get
I
off.
think the game might end here.
Kindred gonna get the turrets. Billy D though, too low, has the Kindred ulti. They're focusing down Revix first. They're not hitting the Nexus, and with 8-8-8 here, that means it's almost certainly a loss. Revix flashing out. Billy D looking for the last auto attack. Will find it, grabs 1,000 gold. Now he has to kite the Tom Kent, a task hard in its own right. Not least of which, when you're hitting a Nexus, it's a double kill and an open Nexus for the side of KKG.
That's a huge trade for running it down, actually. That was like 5 turrets, 4 turrets, inhib.
That was
and then the
5 turrets. They got the tier 2 there as well.
Yeah, the 1k shutdown onto Billy as well.
Yep. I don't even know if that's... I mean, in hindsight, yeah, misplay on the macro by KKG, but honestly, I'm not expecting the split push from Kindred Lysandre to be that potent either. I mean, TSB, I think maybe a little bit aggressive with the teleport is your only thing. Teleport to your base and then walk up to defend the turret instead of immediately having to blow all your defensive cooldowns. But I mean, inhibitor for inhibitor, still gonna have some pressure. I mean, I think the mid inhibitor, not the most worthwhile. There's very easy lanes to clear out. Yeah, you have perma mid prio, which is always nice, but it's never going to be a pain to really have to get that prio, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the top inhibitors are the least valuable, followed by mid, then bot, due to Baron proximity typically. Because now Misfortune, in theory, could just sit top lane and permanently farm this, and always be in proximity to just run to the Baron. Because what should happen, I think, is that you don't contest this next dragon, and you just play hard for Baron vision, and just allow MF or like Lux to just permanently farm this top wave.
Yeah, looks like 8-8-8 maybe taking that honor for now. If that's the one you want to funnel all your gold into, but it looks like KKG doesn't really want to split up. They don't want to divert from the death ball, as that has been working so far as and already starting up the Baron. This is a little bit I think, risky, as J-Morg's not even in the area just yet. Plants Addy in the front line. Good engagement made in. Star Wars gets onto the backside on a Malphite. Billy D grabs some immunity, but 888 is just in his face. The Baron taking him down, has to get over the wall. The Devourer comes through and running it down. Keeping it to the namesake potentially as Star Wars Geeks finally falls. Malphite ult away. Still doesn't even use the T-fight as the root comes through. Revix finds another kill on the backside, but they have to reset for the Nexus under siege here momentarily. And the interesting decision making from the side of running it down on starting that one up. And in that position, we're all just kind of grouped in the back of Baron Pit, taking the maximum amount of Baron damage, as well as being the easiest to engage on by Top Kench. Quite an odd turn of events. Is Dragon up at 54 seconds. Yeah, everyone's up again to fight it out, but you now have no mid pressure whatsoever. So that running down is going to be very hard to contest.
An interesting purchase from Misfortune here. The Serylda is being picked up when there is literally no shielding on
yeah, Serpent's Fang. Yeah, I'm not really.
Yeah, Serpent's Fang.
I guess
here
Turret has some, but not a lot.
It's
Heal Cut would probably be better.
I'd rather see, not even Heal Cut, I'd rather see Black Cleaver, actually.
Really?
You can, as Misfortune, you can really apply a lot of Black Cleaver procs, especially to just shred that Malphite, who's essentially allowed to build full armor this game. Black Cleaver is good too because it gives ability haste and HP.
Makes
it's
you a lot more tanky.
An underrated item on lethality champs.
I know the one that classically built Zed is like a very common thing in his build because he just loves the CDR as well as some extra HP. So that's the one that I've noted for. Either way though, running down. This Dragon Take isn't as grief as the Baron starts, so is going to be able to secure that one, put them up to Soul Point here in 5 minutes time. About 10 minutes delayed from where they wanted to at the start of this one, but we get there when we get there. And it's actually going to be mid-prio here over to the side of running it down as bottom tower also taken by Enders. Plant Zaddy and company trying to push in for some extra vision control, but I mean, at this point, pretty much who bites first as 2K, less than a 2K gold lead between these two teams.
Yeah, both inhibs respawning, but they still are open. So I think this Baron fight actually might result in the game ending, especially if it's very one-sided. Yeah, it could just be over if the game ends up in a team fight with the Baron.
And it looks like it's going to be the Thornmail purchase next in Star Wars Geeks build path to victory. The Eclipse Randuin's Omen into Thornmail. We are theory crafting here in quarterfinals.
Indeed. As Billy could be caught out here, actually, getting collapsed onto the top lane. Oh, the Crescendo does flashed away.
Crescendo just flashed away. That should be the end of the pursuit. The place that he can get a good slow here. Flash forward, Tongue Blast doesn't hit. There comes the W engage, and Billy D. Mayhem Despite isn't going to save you now, friend, as the Devourer comes through, and that is just an automatic kill. Very late TP coming out of combat plane here as they might look to fight this one. J-Borg walking up melee range of Tom Kent. Not the best idea as the Malphite only finds literally nothing. Bullet time, ripping the backline to pieces. Combat plane, fiending once again for Planzaddy. Planzaddy says, please, Cubbage Maze. Enders finds a solo kill out of nowhere at bot side. 8-8 now walking with impunity towards the enemy AD carry. Star Wars and the ulti from Tarek is later than late. And that's 4. Still alive in the top lane here for KKG. Enders can still continue the split push, but it's almost assuredly the Baron for the side of KKG.
Definitely an interesting series of events. A lot of whiffs happening. Yeah. Definitely not the most clean game we've seen in PSU LCS.
Not by a long shot. I mean, Billy D there definitely the first sin of the overextension in the top side. No support readily available. Then we have light TP, whiffed ultimates out the wazoo. A lot of button presses, and with that, Baron over to KKG could look to just push it down mid here and try to force something around the open inhibitor. More than likely going to leverage a 1-4 or 1-3-1 just to get Baron pressure onto these last two remaining tier 2s in the side lanes. As running down, just gonna have to try to weather the storm until this next dragon spawns. Because that's likely gonna be their next opportunity to really contest anything that King Kong's gonna be doing on the map.
J-Morgs and Billy are really, really strong still, but we haven't been able to really see a team, like a true team fight that they're both involved in, where they're able to hit front to back yet. So they've not been able to show how truly strong they can be.
Yep. I mean, speaking of strong, Revix, full build. All 5 items plus the boots completed. I did get the heel cut as well as the Serpent's Fang, which is a little strange. I think you just take one or the other, specifically if you're going to go one of the utils, the heel cut. Probably the better of the two without any allied shield. J Morgs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think
ping with the Gale Force.
Yeah. I don't even think that he should have gone heel cut here. I think Sona should have gone heel cut second instead of Mikhails. I can understand the Mikhails on Sona, but the Putrefier is just so strong on Enchanters that it basically allows everyone else on the team to not have to go through the wounds.
Yeah, I mean, you already have it on Malphite as well, so it's not like you don't have any heel cuts. Comrade playing caught out here. Unstoppable's in place. Stun comes through, plant that he's loading damage on his eyes. Ender might be looking for a flank engage. But Lady's not even close to this fight, and that means it's going to be the pick onto the enemy top lane. 28 seconds before the dragon spawns, your main teamfight champion out of commission. Billy D as well spotted out looking for that backdoor on the inhib. So free dragon over to the side of running it down. Not the soul just yet, but we are going to go to a 7th dragon to determine this soul point. And going to be mid lane inhibitor as well, as everyone just kind of spread it out. Thought they were going to be able to take the farm and watch the dragon went down. Ender doesn't find an engage yet. Crescendo.
Oh, Billy. Look at Billy. Look at Billy.
Interesting one. Yeah, Billy in the bot lane. Looking at him. TSB though there as well. TP coming out of Aiden. Means that the Kindred must flee. W coming forward. Billy gonna need to hop the wall to get out of this one. Tongue Lash does not land. That means the Kindred gonna get out of this one scot-free. Dragon taken. Ender is here to try to delay Star Wars Geeks. Stuns him out of the queue. Everfrost layered a little bit early. Plant that here as well to heal up. Star Wars Geeks. Exhaust comes through. There is no support from his team. The E was used. Has to burn the flash. And a whole lot of nothing coming out of that one for running it down. They lose the inhibitor. They don't get the top lane inhibitor. They lose the dragon. They lose flashes.
That's the power of Sona there. Just Enders would have been able to get that pick, but Sona healed like 1,000 within like a couple seconds there. That's that infinite scaling threat you're talking about in the champs look.
Very true. And now Baron, next objective here in 2:35. We are 36 minutes into game 1. Not sure if we classify this one as a banger just yet, but certainly an interesting game nonetheless. Heading into the later stages, 3K the gold lead, but kind of fluctuating between a few numbers. Is also a pick look here in TSB, but Enders can't get anywhere close to this Lux with the slows coming through off of the E. And so it will just be a burning of the curtain call, a disengage.
Yeah, at this point I'm wondering if anyone in these teams took Gathering Storm. From what I can see is, I hope Misfortune and Sona took it instead of Scorch, because Scorch is such an obnoxiously useless rune. That rune does like 900 damage in like a 40-minute game. Whereas if you have Gathering Storm in a 40-minute game, like using one auto attack does like 200 more damage.
Certainly is valuable when you get to these later game fights as well. As they finally look again onto Comrade Plane. Possibly looking for the name change to Comrade KKG, but does manage to slip away with the Unstoppable Force. And with that, I mean, big cooldown burned away, so that's not going to be available here for another 60 seconds or so. And with it, full priority over to King Kong. They're going to be able to push in this mid lane, get full priority to go set up vision if they so choose. Looks like they're just going to fan out into the adjacent rivers. Not going to really look for too much deep vision, just that one ward there in Raptor's Brush.
Yeah, again,
pick some more up.
Not much vision, but Plant Daddy approaching 100 vision score. I think it's still a little low for the current game state. yeah, around 150 is like good for 40 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Also,
could be
also
helpful.
hurts that the other team isn't placing a lot of wards to clear either.
Yeah, that's true.
It goes both ways. However, yeah, I mean, still looking like a pretty hard one here for running it down to get out. We have not seen Billy D do too much of anything in around 15 minutes. Besides being caught on picks. So, the carry threat, the Kindred to snowball the game to oblivion has a
I mean,
big
he's
success
6 items.
still. Yeah, I mean, he's full build. He's literally full build. It's not like a lot of these champions get to the point where you are completing your last items. Lissandra looking to complete the healing reduction off the Morello. Jin only needing one more. You have full build on your jungler. You should be able to start taking some pretty decent fights, considering the only one full build here on the side of KKG is this Misfortune. As Baron looks to be the call.
Some unfortunate builds on the mages here.
Horizon focus on Lissandra is
Yeah, the Horizon focus on both of them I think is bad. Typically, Horizon focus
I'm
is
less
just
appalled
worse.
on the Lux because at least Lux has abilities that are outside the range requirement.
Yeah, I can see the thought process, but I'm fairly certain mathematically if you go, oh, that's the Baroness started up here.
Yeah, Curtain Call going to be used. I'm not sure what Poke's going to do. Is 888 is just a big block of flesh out in front. You have a little bit of chip damage on the who knows what, but Baron down to 6k. It might just be the miracle steal for Billy as flash over 888 to buy some time. Landing fight already popped. 888 going to throw him out as well as the Taric ulti coming through. Baron, though, going to go the way of KKG's Malphite ult in the back line. 888 goes down. Enters also over the wall. It might be a fight. No! Revix will shut that door as quickly as it was open. The bullet time denies the hope, the dreams of running it down as J Morgan's ability to have to limp away. TSB, though, good times Hourglass ability gets exhausted. Has the GA still, but popped in vain as Revix here as TSB, buddy. I'm not sure what that one was, but it might just be the victory lap as you still got 4 alive. Pushing into the base against J Morgan. Yeah, this should be the end. This should be just about the end. Red lane inhibitor, red side inhibitor does fall. Nexus Church. Oh, that's the other way. J Morgs. Goodbye, my friend. And for now, the Nexus gonna be the target. It was not a clean game. It was a long one. KKG will manage to end it out. Revix 15-1 on the Misfortune to bring her home. And we find match point in the series over to White Conference number 2.
Yeah, kind of expected from the seeding, but a little off on my prediction from the first of the draft. But it looks like Revix was able to take over despite having what in my opinion was not the ideal build for the game. Turned out to work out really well. So
Yeah.
props to him.
Yeah, ended up. I mean, always helps when you get a quadra kill on the third drag fight. You know, definitely accelerates your build path a little bit. But still well played by him. Probably one of the more consistently high performing players in that whole match. Overall, in terms of positioning, ultimate usage was fantastic for the most part. So, yeah, definitely the big winner for game 1. We'll have to see what the adaptations that Running It Down wants to make here in game 2, because they had the team fight cult, they had the tools at their disposal, but usage just doesn't hit the mark onto that one. As I mean, Malphite, Lissandra could never combo together in any meaningful way that entire game.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Vi worked out, honestly. Despite like
I don't know if we can say the Vi worked out or the Vi was like sufficient enough to you know, hold their own there on that one. It was I don't think the Vi was the determining factor in that game.
Yeah, pretty true. Pretty true.
Whew. In any event, we might have a little bit of a spicy series given what comes next, but we're gonna wait here on to game 2. Coming up here in just a few moments. Until then, we're going to take a little bit of a break from cast, and we'll get back to you guys shortly. Hello, hello, and welcome back for Game 2 of King Kong versus Godzilla versus Running It Down in the Penn State Esports PSU LCS Quarterfinals. We're getting out of the Game 2 third-party draft and into client draft here in just a second, but match point here over to the White Conference number 2 seed in KKG after, well, I wouldn't say a dominant Game 1, certainly a statement game nonetheless.
Yeah, a lot of good performances and a lot of bad performances in the first game. Notably, Revex stepping up hugely, ending his first game 15-1 on the Misfortune. It's really carried across the line. But on the other hand, Billy D starting out really strong and then not really being able to make much of his lead. So let's see if we can get something different. Bans going across pretty similar from last game, though.
Yeah, I mean, par play course, you have Graves, you have Darius, you're banning out Billy D, you're banning out Aiden. As seen beforehand, pretty much the same. Let's see if there are some adaptations to come through here. Hecarim's still going to be hitting the bench. Billy not getting his hands on that one. And then Tom Kench, going to be the replacement ban here. Not going to let Aiden take that one out just yet. Fizz is well banned away.
Yeah, I don't know the pick or ban order. Or I know the ban order, but not the pick order.
Yep. So Comrade playing Wukong was a B5. Was blinded, however, and Set was the response pick. Nocturne as well coming in. Kiana in response, Nocturne in response to Kiana. Sorry, I misspeak. And then Orianna on the B4. So coming in as the counter pick to Galio mid. Very standard champions, nonetheless. A little bit more of a contained game so far in terms of champion picks. Make a lot more sense.
Yeah, so far I like Running It Down's team comp more, but KKG's is far easier to execute. You basically just Nocturne ult in with Galio.
Press R and let Set do his job, man.
Yep.
That's the comp, and we will be getting, I know it's spoilers, I know, but it is going to be Lucian Nami. Was R1, R2'd. So, Soraka, not going to be the pick. I'm not really sure why we're hovering. It is Blitzcrank as the response. So, another pick.
Soraka is actually a good pick into Lucian Nami.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's good to their entire team, because if you dive and then Soraka just ults back to full HP, the game is won. Yeah,
the silence is really strong. Anything that can basically interrupt or like CC Lucian while he's going in is pretty strong. Notably, like Lulu. Lulu Aphelios is really strong into that lane. Like Soraka plus like basically any AD carry is basically good into that lane. But I think Lucian Nami is a little overrated in my opinion. It's definitely a strong combo, but I don't actually think it's the strongest combo in the meta. I think that title probably goes to Aphelios Lulu in my opinion.
Aphelios Lulu is pretty insane if you can get the ball rolling, but it will be a Lucian Nami here. I mean, Revex, faith is on his side at this point, I think, for all of us. We saw what he did in Game 1 on a Misfortune with a very interesting build path, so let's see if he can keep up the aggression here on the Lucian now into the likes of a Misfortune.
Yeah, you definitely can take over games with the Lucian Nami, but it's just an issue of can you execute the laning phase correctly?
Such is the question of the hour. Another laning phase to watch. I mean, Galio Orianna, you're going to have a matchup in mid lane that's a little bit interesting in terms of... Nope.
Yeah,
boring to watch. Interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
As TSB certainly getting the upper hand of Enders for a lot of the early game last time.
That matchup can really showcase how good or bad like an Orianna is. Because Galio generally just does the same thing in every lane. He just tries to get as much CS as possible, then get his Predator boots and leave the lane. But if Orianna plays correctly, she can actually create a huge advantage through like a cheater recall and a lot of poke damage. And also, I'm not sure why Set was picked into Wukong. Did you say that, right?
Yeah, Set is R5'd.
I'm fairly certain Wukong just beats every AD top lane. Most of his passive.
I'd say it's likely. Maybe you're looking for true damage on Set. Maybe it's just comfort. Aiden has shown proficiency on the champion in the past. We have a lot of Set players in PSU LCS top lane, especially of the high elo variety. Neats comes to mind, Lichy Rain, Aiden Nathan. These guys that will just take you to town on this champion, show you who the boss really is in top lane. So, I mean, after the first game again, laning dominance was in favor of KKG on with Aiden on the Tom Kench. Into the Malphite now, that a much more advantageous matchup potentially, but still got to see how Comrade Plane decides to play it. As even if he loses lane on Wukong, I mean, that champion is extremely annoying to play against for a lot of other champions. Lucian especially is going to have a hard time with that one, as you get hit by one Cyclone and you're just kind of screwed.
Yeah.
Not much you can do off of that. Can certainly interrupt a lot of the team fighting. If the Galio Nocturne engage doesn't work too terribly well, you can follow up with that. But if you're doing it, it's gonna be interesting to see how team fights play, because you have a lot of ultimates that are like it's the thing of who burns the cooldowns first, and do they work? Because if something misses from either of these sides, a shockwave, a hero's entrance, even a showstopper onto multiple members, like there's a good chance the other team can just engage on you and just wipe you off the face of the earth with the damage and the fighting that both these sides have.
Yep. On that note, I'd like to see from J-Morgs, I doubt he'll do it, but a build that I like to go into these kind of brawly team comps as Misfortune is you go Shield Bow into Bloodthirster with
That's the old build.
Press the attack, and then you go into with your secondary runes, it's Conditioning Overgrowth, so you actually get a decent amount of tankiness once you go to about 12 to 15 minutes.
Yep.
That rune combination is very underrated in my opinion.
No, it is.
Total,
really
it gives about like 1,200 gold in stats at around 12 to 15 minutes, depending on how well you CS.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the old Misfortune build. You think of it back before Lethality Misfortune started becoming like super meta and Kraken Slayer Misfortune was a favorite. It was Shield Bow into Bloodthirster was the build earlier on. I don't remember exactly what other 80 carries were super meta at that point off the top of my head. But yeah, it used to be you'd go Shield Bow into Bloodthirster, and that was your build path. It was like the very similar thing with what Samira still builds now, what Draven likes to go, depending on matchup. It's definitely a little bit more of an interesting build. Again, I would say I'd probably doubt he goes just from how old the build has gotten at this point, but it looks like it's going to be Lethality with a comment.
To answer the question in the chat, Overgrowth stacks by CSing. It depends on how many, I believe, large monsters you kill, or...
no, I think it's about minions that die around you.
Yeah, it's something like that. You need like 120 or something.
Yeah, I think it's just the ones that die near you.
If you're not getting the CS, you're trolling. Just get the CS.
It doesn't matter for Overgrowth, it matters for other things.
It's also just, if you're in the lane at the correct time.
Okay, this is going to be a little bit of trickery with the 5 stacks. Moving in. Do they see the ward being placed? Don't know. Blitzcrank and company. Checking forward. Billy D into the 3-man taunt. There's in first blood to KKG as J-Morgs and Radio got a flash away wounded. And we're off to a banger. Top lane's got first blood, assists all around the board. Alrighty, split off and are picked off by KKG, who, despite the vision, are going to be off to a fantastic early game advantage.
Yeah, some runes I'd like to take note of here. The Predator on Kiana I actually think is correct. That rune is very, very powerful
really good
as compared to the Electrocute or the Conquer. But on Orianna, I think Aerie is troll. You definitely want to just take Phase Rush pretty much every time. Especially against these champions like Galio.
Galio and Set, yeah, you do want your spacing. You do want to be able to have very easy disengage or fight access, depending on how you want to play it, because you can also run down these champions with Phase Rush.
Good time to pause as we can talk more about the runes. I don't think Lethality MF is actually correct here. It could end up being decent because it is strong, like range-wise, but you have so much more dive that can actually access you at this point with the Nocturne and whatnot. But moving on. No Predator Galio is just trolling. Like, you don't need Aftershock as Galio, you're tanky enough, and the Predator just makes you so oppressive. Because you can literally, like, not play lane, get Predator, and just dive bot on repeat, especially in this kind of lane.
Okay, Comrade Plane left the game. and then reconnected, it looks like, and that was the issue for our pausing. As we have the post-game spectator freeze. Post-pause spectator freeze.
Yeah, the other rune here, a lot of people might disagree with me, but I do believe Electrocute on Lucian Nami is useless. This rune does, like, at the end of the game, it does like 800 damage. You're better off in this kind of lane just taking Guardian, or in general just taking Airy. Because both of them scale better than Electrocute too.
No one's going to certainly argue with the potency of Ares scaling, that much is certain. And in terms of jungle this time, both junglers pathing topside. As we start to
Got a
split
bone
out.
plating check on Plant Zeddy there. In the 2 versus 2 win.
Ooh. Yeah, I don't like to see the bone plating too often here. Especially in ranged matchups, it is.
It's bad in
Quite
ranged
bad.
matchups, and it's terrible in the 2 versus 2. Because bone plating only blocks damage from the person who procs it. So in this lane, if you're getting blitz hooked, you're just get only reducing damage from blitz, so you're doing nothing to MF. And also MF can just E you and just proc the bone plating on cooldown, basically. So it's really useless.
Amrad Blaine is getting a little bit styled on here as hook goes wide from next to radio on the Lucian dash, and 888 full prio topside, whereas mid prio going the way of Enders. We might have a little bit of interesting scuttle contest as Talk comes down. TSB though gonna take the bat and the straight in the backside of it. Command dissonance does a good bit of damage, but not that much because it is a tier start on the Orianna. Not necessarily looking for a lot of that lane pressure. 888 gets the Gromp from Billy D.
Oh, interesting.
I think. Did he smite it? I didn't see.
I don't know. I can
looks
just
like-
hear Billy's voice now. Man, FF. That's what he's saying right now.
I'd say it looked like Set punched it, but it might have been a smite by Kiana. I was fast forwarding. I didn't get to see the lead up
Yeah.
to the payoff.
Yeah, it's really strong though. It does look like Star Wars Geeks might be able to double grab here, depending on how the bot lane prio remains.
Yep. Oh, but might just look for the gank instead as Enders gets taunted, but the fear not going to come in fast enough. And Enders going to be pretty safe under his turret, not going to be too far in the hole. And now bot side scuttle, yeah, going to be the double scuttle here. Billy D can't find the root either with the spell shield. Mid lane burn TP back. The only lane that had priority had failed to sustain it. And with that 1,000 gold lead already for the side of KKG, certainly a much better start to the early game than last time. Next to radio, going in with Brevix. Exhaust is burned, the hook comes through, has to burn the flash away as the exhaust comes down in response. Kiana now here as well, but a little bit late. The Predator though makes the champ so fast, gets caught by the bubble, still gets the root. But with Star Wars Geeks arrival, it means it's going to be a disengage. Low for Nocturne, not something they are particularly wanting to fight with the red buff available. So it will just be a disengage for now. Some summoners blown from both sides. Lucian blowing heal, flash, and his support's exhaust, whereas next radio, Shadow's making out a little bit better. The heal also blown by Jay Morgs to keep him alive, but still very nice trade there in favor of keeping, or in favor of RID, even without the gank necessarily working that well.
Yeah, some stabilization coming in here for a few members, notably Orianna still having a decent lead here. TSB has yet to use his teleport to kind of stabilize himself, but yeah, it's kind of good for Orianna here in the current state. And despite,
Just
I don't know,
permanently keep
Star
his
Wars
lane
Geeks might look for a gank here.
I'll
Kind of
say,
playing the wrong pocket.
Yep, dead. Taunt comes down, Fear comes through, TSB, easy kill. Probably didn't even need the Nocturne, honestly.
That's the caster curse, my bad. Saying he was stabilized in a good position.
He was stable, was in a good position, but without the jungle tracking, I mean, this is again the lacking of consistent vision in the enemy jungle or in well-traveled places. You don't know where the Nocturne is?
That was a trackable thing.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like Nocturne just went right back to his bot camps where he started, and instead of taking Krugs, just went straight to ground. But Billy D looking to kill here.
Oh, Root comes through, has the execute on W, but good job by TSB to disengage. Might actually have the trade kill. Ooh, it's close. With that, though, it looks like it's going to be KKG getting the bot priority yet again for this Infernal Dragon. And they're going to start their soul stacking this game at around 7 minutes time. Interesting animation canceled there by Nade.
Yeah, I think that's only possible because the E missed.
Yeah.
The E animation lasts for a little longer if it lands.
So that was, I've never seen that do that before. That was very wonky. As mid lane, yeah, I mean TSB currently just playing this one a little bit on the better on Galio.
Interestingly,
Orianna.
I'm not sure if this is because he's going after Trinity.
Comrade Plane is very dead. Great use of the Showstopper plus some Haymaker combo there to secure that one over. It does have TP, so shouldn't lose too much in terms of wave or XP, but 2-0 set is not something you want to be seeing if you're on RID and you already have that losing top side as well as now a losing bot side for the time being.
Something I'd like to take note of is that TSB is going for the Proto Belt. That's typically not what we see. Most of the
yeah, Revic's dead. Exhaust comes through, healing up for now. Yeah, next radio gonna grab that kill pretty easily. J-Morg's not able to with the bubble. So 1-for-1 trade in favor of, I believe it's still in favor of Revex because he got the kill.
Billy
but
D
Tiana, yeah, here with TSB as we are top lane for some reason. Thank you, directed camera.
But yeah, as I was saying, TSB is forced to go for the Proto Belt here because he doesn't have the Predator to get a little bit more move speed. Typically what you'd want to do is you'd have Predator. You Predator in with your W, and that means you have still more move speed than a normal champion.
Oh, the clone gets him out. Comrade Plane lives another day. 8-8 in. Flash forward, connects with the Haymaker. And
I can't talk about items because everyone's just perma fighting.
I don't know if Comrade Plane is trying to be perma fighting here in top lane. To be fair, this is a little bit of a one-sided endeavor. 8-8 not really looking for permission.
Ooh,
in the
that
top side.
Just misses off TSB.
Yeah, probably would have been a kill with Orianna in the area. And yeah, we're going to get 3 plates and 3 kills onto 8-8 on the set.
Yeah, definitely set up to take over this one.
Yeah, though Revic's possibly in trouble here in the bot lane. Next radio will not predict the dash correctly.
But yeah, as I was saying, again, Galio typically likes to go with Predator, the Everfrost, because you can get a huge CC combo where you taunt them with the full duration, then you E them, and then you Everfrost.
Alright, you had the full thing off this time, as we had a paranoia mid.
An engage happens, they heard me talking, so they had to go for an engage.
See, it's like the inverse of LCK cast. When we talk about something that actually matters about the game, stuff will happen.
Yeah.
But if we talk about random stuff, it will be a farm fest. We are inverse LCK. LPL, some might say. As Hook does land there onto Plant Zaddy. Going very low. Bubble. Not going to connect with the flash. Next radio, though, does grab the kill with the ultimate. Revic's trying to trade back. J-Morg still, though, pretty low. And with PTA proc, might not want to go into a trade onto a Calling Lucian. So it will just be a disengage for now. 1 kill, though, over to the running it down bot lane as bullet time used there to clear the wave, force out Revix. Push him back. Still, though, 2,000 gold lead over to KKG as Comrade Plane burns the Cyclone here on 8-8 Naden, who does still win the trade, as it is Sheen versus Full Gore Drinker.
Yep. Star Wars Geeks in the top lane here. I mean, the ward doesn't have his ultimate, so not a lot of gank pressure. But
if he has ultimate, it's definitely going to be a dive.
Yeah, up a lot of CS on Billy, though. I don't think that's surprising matchup-wise, but it's surprising player-wise, I think.
This is ridiculous.
No offense to Star Wars Geeks.
Yeah. 8-8 just absolutely does not care about this lane anymore. Walks under tower, just letting Comrade Plane hit him with auto attack as he takes the plates. That is a distinct knowledge that you have lost top lane at that point when someone can do that.
Yep. The dragon is gonna spawn here soon.
Yeah, we have first turn at 11 minutes. 8. I mean, honestly, it might not be a bad idea to. You just keep top lane for now. They try to get him to get some more plates. If I get the plates that he hooked away. Good position there by next to Radio and Billy D. Good pick.
That will probably be the dragon for running it down as well.
Yeah, that's a big. That stops the soul stacking. That buys them a little bit more time. On some of these carries, Orianna is, despite being a fairly strong laner, does need some time to come online. So, does buy a little bit more time if you get this 5-man dragon. Is Karma Plane's dead again. Aiden grabs another solo kill, his third of the game. And Dragon most assuredly going down here. So, despite top lane success, it's going to be running it down, grabbing the second Drake. And if this is a tier 2 at 12 minutes, this is really bad. Yeah,
that turret buff recently makes all the side lane inners give.
Yeah, 600 gold. That was 2 kills worth of gold. Yeah. He's not even getting that. He wouldn't even get 600 gold if he solo killed Comrade Plane 2 more times.
Yeah.
That's how much gold that is. So we check gold on the gold distributor. He is up 4.5 thousand gold over his lane opponent.
Yeah, so he's basically the whole gold lead of KKG right now.
Essentially, jungle is a 600 gold lead. Mid lane for running it down actually has a pretty. It's like a 300 gold lead over to Orianna, which is, if Orianna has a gold lead on lane, you know, you're pretty happy with that. 100 gold lead over to Lucian, and then support is almost 600 because, you know, 2 kills makes a difference. So yeah, 888 is the richest man on the Rift by a lot, 3,000 gold over literally anyone else.
Yep.
It might be a little bit of a problem here as we continue forward. Is he's going to grab himself another solo kill in all likelihood. No, not gonna grab that one.
An interesting build here from J-Morgs. Opts for the lethality rune setup, but is opting into the Gale Force.
I think he's starting to worry about how ahead the set and the Galio are getting in the tankiness.
Yeah.
I say he's getting a little bit of cold feet there.
Maybe, I just hope he doesn't go Collector. Like, just don't.
You got the two long swords in inventory, man. It's
He still could go LDR, still could do it correctly.
He could go LDR. LDR would be preferable in Star Wars. He's possibly picked here. Good spell shield, but there's still a supreme display of balance. And Ender actually the one to grab that kill. Though Comrade Plane is dying under inhibitor turret. And make that 4 solo kills for Naden. As he will be proxying under the inhibitor turret, ladies and gentlemen.
So this is for sure a too early inhib. Sometimes we talk about like the breakpoints between early inhibs and whatnot, but if Aiden decides to get this inhib, it will be a mistake for sure, because the Baron won't even spawn for another 5 minutes.
Yep, looks like he won't even be taking the tower just on yet. Gonna take some camps away from Billy here, who has not had a top side this game for the most part.
Taking the turret is fine in my opinion.
Yeah, taking the turret I think is pretty good. I mean, you validate pressure as soon as you have 20 minutes. With kind of you can't just go for it. It's Billy, J-Rex, and J-Morgs. Good calling from Revix. J-Morgs, though, kiting between the minions. Double up connects. And it's going to be a 1-for-1 thanks to some minion assists in the bot lane. Very well played by both those guys, I think, mechanic-wise.
Yeah.
That was a display of 2 very good mechanics. It was a good flash from TSP to get away. Very nice. Much better played game mechanically so far, for sure.
Indeed. Hook missing out, as we say that. Lucky.
It's a blitzcrank hook that, you know, those are...
A little hard.
It's a harder skill shot. When you walk up like that with nothing to do, no zoning potential, I mean...
Looks like
take shots,
TSB going...
Whoa! The double max range taunt from TSB. Finds 2, but Star Wars, he holds his paranoia for the longest possible time, as now the Springfield play of Talon finds him. TSB going very, very low with the TP in. Enders finds the kill. Comrade Plane gets one as well. Somehow, someway, as Star Wars geeks the target of the dive. Going low, finally falls as well to Comrade Plane. Next to Radio, Comrade Plane now trying to kite away. Revix doesn't have the calling just yet as Comrade Plane re-engaging, dies anyway. Reset his gold there for Revix, the homie.
888 coming in for the flank.
Yeah, and he might just look to kill absolutely everyone. It's a lot of low health bars, and this set has a show to stop. Root, though, comes down. Aiden just going to run under tower. No care in the ward. Flashes forward. Showstopper finds one. Finds the E on a 2, but can't find a kill just yet. Hook comes back, gets stunned up, has to use the haymaker, doesn't find anything with that as well. Now Aiden actually on the back foot as Orianna grabs a shutdown onto Revix. TSB teleporting back in. Aiden looking for a re-engage as well. Doesn't find it. Off of the face breaker. And somehow, some way, running it down. Is that what I'm saying? That J-Morgs gets away.
Yeah, interesting exchange there. It just shows how easily Set is able to be kited by some of these champions.
Kited but not killed, I would presume.
Yeah,
Sterix,
it would definitely be hard to kill him.
Sterix not even popped in that encounter, so still had tons of sustain.
Yeah, so something I'd like to point out, Enders was sitting on the Fiendish Lost Chapter combo for a long time, so I assumed that meant he was going Leandry. But now he has a Fiendish in his inventory and went Ludens. So
I think he's going Stopwatch next, I would assume.
I mean, Sonya's second is so awful on control mages.
Yeah, I would definitely be going to get your Archangels completed at this point.
Yeah.
Just to get your power, especially since you're already ahead, you're 3-1 and 2, you're feeling pretty good around this stage. I really don't like the Merc Trends purchase this game.
Yeah,
I think that is
like, the thing is, if you're going Ludens, you need Sorks.
You need to have Sorks, yeah.
You just need to have as much pen as possible.
I think you just take Sorks anyway in this matchup. It's Plant Daddy. Yeah, no amount of boot resistances will save you from that one.
Yeah, I also personally like Leandry's on almost every like control mage, even stuff like LeBlanc. Leandry's actually does more damage if they're above a certain amount of HP.
Oh, Billy D finds Aiden. Facebreaker hits in a very odd animation as Supreme's play a talent must be used to disengage. And with that, the whole team might collapse in favor of the ever good red buff contest. Very important objective in the state of this game as Smite does come through for Billy D. Aiden can't find a re-engage, and with that, the battle for red buff is finished.
I'm interested to see what KKG does with their leads here. They have all the turrets, basically, whereas running it down has none.
Courtesy of one Aiden, they have all of the turrets in the side lanes.
Yep. I don't know if they'll be able to force down mid, actually. The Misfortune and Orianna have quite a lot of wave clear, so that might not be possible.
As we look at the gold check-in, it's actually almost a 1,300 gold lead here for Orianna in mid lane. If you're looking at the RID side of things, as well as that's pretty much it in terms of gold leads in that department. But yeah, Set currently is sitting with 11,000 gold, 3,000 of which is in his inventory unspent. So that's a whole other item coming through here as soon as he finishes this reset. And we'll see what he decides to do. Yep, full Titanic Hydra out of no components.
Yeah, I mean, J-Morg is just trying to build, I think, this to just piss me off. He does that sometimes.
It's the Collector. It is the Collector against armor stacking already on 3 enemy champions.
He goes Gale Force when he has Comet. He goes Collector against 2...
Triple tabbies.
Triple tabbies, yeah. By the way, someone did the math on Twitter. At level 14, since lethality scales down with how high levels go, at level 14, tabbies block all the lethality from Collector. Just the tabbies, not even like the base armor that you get.
Let Daddy pick yet again. As the engage comes through, good news, super plays buys a lot of time for Jay, but he can't get the ulti off in time. In the front line, going to obliterate a good shot with the finds too. Star Wars Geeks traded back as well as another hook from next to radio. The Sterix is down. Aiden. One more turret shot, the 1,000 gold to Billy D. Ka-ching for the Kiana. As Revix now on the run, might trade here into Ender. Stop watches as here comes the Hero's Enders. It means Ender's down. X-Ray finds another hook, but this one might just be to his demise. Billy D trying to find a way in from the side. Can't just yet. Comrade playing here though now with the Cyclone and Billy D demolishing Revix in that one, and it is a full ace on the delay for the side of running it down against all expectation of how this early game was running.
Yeah, it's a lot of gold into the pocket of Billy D there, especially because he got that big shutdown onto 888. That can be quite strong, especially on someone like Kiana, who can just provide so much to a fight with her ultimate and her grass Q.
Yeah, I mean, well played fight there. Next to Radio hitting some absolutely fantastic hooks here on the Blitzcrank. Secures a kill on Aiden. Aiden starts the fight up, picking the support yet again, might I add.
Yeah.
Is playing very well.
That's one of the issues with the Nami, Lucian Nami thing, is that the Lucian Nami is strong, but if you end up even or behind, you have Nami on your team. So if you get past this stage, you have Nami with Mandate, I might add, where you're just kind of like an E bot and like a W bot, because like your Q is hard to land, and like your ult is like, you just need to have like a mouse to like dodge it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be the current state of things. Is Dragon here spawning in 35. It's going to be the third here for KKG if they can secure. But again, that soul stacking was stopped in the early game by running it down, grabbing that early Mountain Dragon. So while they could be looking at a 23-ish minute soul, which is pretty quick, was unfortunately delayed back. And now, as they're starting to now lose team fights, it's going to become more and more of a sticking point, an issue for this team to overcome.
Yeah, I think what KKG just wants to do is have 888 and split the top lane here, because realistically, no one can match him.
Look. Stolen away by Billy D. I fast forwarded to catch up, and it's gone.
Oh.
Wow. Didn't even use the Supreme Display talent on that one. They just steal away the Drake. Didn't have to flash forward or anything. I'm assuming just came over the wall with W, but
as the pings onto the Baron here immediately.
Yeah, it does look like it's going to be the angle of KKG to try to force this one. I mean, there's still 2K in the lead. You expect them to have some fighting for less, but TSB chunked low already in the double up as well, hitting Revex hard. Aiden looking, but it's Comrade playing and next to Radio. Not necessarily the target you want to burn a lot of cooldowns on, though. To Comrade's plane's credit, despite being Flame Horizoned at just 23 minutes, does have 3 kills, has his first item complete, Tabbies, is still a useful force for this team.
Indeed. I'd like to take a look at just like these weird builds in the mid lane again here. I guess like Zhonya's second is fine, but now we're just finally getting our Seraphs, but we're just doing no damage, and also we have the Mercs with the Ludens, so we're even doing even less.
I mean, Mercs in this game in general is just, even if you don't want to go the Sork shoes this game, say you're going the Leandra's build, I think you're still going Ionians over Mercs in any case.
I kind of see the Mercs, like they have a decent amount of CC, but it's like
if they CC you, you're gonna die. If you are getting CC'd by TSB in any of these fights, you are dead as Orianna. There's not.
Yeah.
Mercs are not gonna save you from that one. As soon as someone lands CC on you against this team, it's going to be a follow-up engage. It's going to be someone piling on. It's going to be a showstopper. It's going to be a face breaker. It's going to be a taunt into a paranoia. Like, you're not getting out of this stuff. And the only CC ability that you really could see is like a Pixie, so that you really want to not have to like get the resistance for. I guess in terms of lessening it, it doesn't even work because that'd be Nami Bubble or Nami Wave, which are both knockups, not slows, not roots or anything. So it's not even a board. J-Mords, Gale Force away, has to flash still because Fear Tether is quite long.
Yeah, that's good, but I still think that they should just put 888 in the side lane. I'm not sure why they're not. Just let him go in the bot lane here. He needs to just understand that his team, he needs to trust his team to not grief him and just let him split. Because at this point, if they send 2 to 3 for him, which they need to stop him, they could just do the Baron. Which looks like to be, they've finally realized here. Is
Yep,
the case.
KKG is on. Comrade playing stuck down here in bot lane. Of course, both these top laners do have the teleport. Shockwave does miss. Plantside flashing away from that one, so another big T-fight cooldown blown. He's going to back up again. Nothing really lost to KKG here because they are getting the bot lane inhibitor turret. 888 actually getting some substantial damage from Comrade playing. Realizes, hey, maybe this guy actually can do damage to me if I just let him auto-attack me for 3 minutes.
Yeah, still, I don't think he can do much because 888 is just going to be able to keep pressuring here.
Yeah, level 16 to level 13 is quite rough, although Baron pressure is regained by RID. They're going to push in there, grab some wards, set that one up.
He gets the turret on this wave.
Yep. We'll see if he goes to the kill on the Comrade Plane, goes forward, doesn't grab the stun, it's just a knockback, so Comrade Plane jacking up the Conquer, looking to continue the trade a little bit, but 888 knowing that the rest of the team is reset. We're not pressuring Baron right now. There is no point in me overextending this and baiting people out. Just going to back away calmly. Looks like he will be taking the reset, sitting on around 2100 gold, so pretty substantial reset as well, going for Black Cleaver, I think.
I think so. I think that's
Kindle Gem, Caulfields, I believe that's Black Cleaver.
Yeah, I
could be wrong.
Build that out often, so I believe that. I think that's correct, though.
It could certainly be wrong. Not entirely sure. Either way, a little bit more of a stalemate. Much more controlled play than we saw in Game 1, for certain. I think maybe the nerves kind of spent here from both these teams. They've settled into their grooves.
Drag is going to be spawning here in about 40-30 seconds, so we'll probably see some kind of fight for that.
Possibly. I mean, it is third Dragon both teams, so you're not forced to, is the thing here. If you don't feel like you have a winning fight, there's no point in throwing the Baron over it. So looks like it's going to be KKG who has the priority over it for right now, so should be their Drake to lose. So TSP might be a little bit caught out here in bot lane as the rest of the team rotates down. Yeah, you do the paranoia to try to buy some time, but TSP with the movement speed out of Flash, Nimbus Cloak, and Proto Belt manages to run away from a Blitzcrank Cook in transit.
Yeah, I'd like to see Aiden just keep going top lane there instead of TPing in.
Was Black Cleaver, by the way, completed.
Yep. I think if he's just on the turret with Orianna here, Orianna can't really do anything to him.
And for the side of RID, as soon as you see set TP here, you should just, hey, the Dragon's gone, guys. Let's give this one. We're not going to fight this. Let's go farm the waves. Let's get someone in bot lane right now. We already have 2 pushing in mid. We have top wave being picked up. Billy D looks for the steal. Fair enough.
But not W out.
Oh, he doesn't W out in time. He's had the flash as well.
Yeah,
Billy
he was reading
D.
to try to just W out instead of flash out. Yeah, a little bit of a punish there onto his greed. Could be the Baron just ending up.
Yeah, that could very well just be the Baron now that you've gotten the pick in. Comrade Plane went for the reset. Has to get back on the map. Billy's down for 26 seconds.
Yeah, that'll just be Baron. I don't even think they'll be able to contest this.
No, they don't have mid pressure. They don't have any vision to check in. They do not want to check into 888, that's for sure. So it is now going to be KKG's Baron, thanks to, I mean, the steal is fine on the Dragon so long as you have the flash to get away. Have the Supreme Display of Talent as well if we want to try to kite out for the stun. Yeah, I mean, that's just a misplay. That is a massive misplay from the running it down jungler.
Yeah. Should just be able, or KKG should just be able to just close this one now, I think, with the Baron.
Baron
still
still
can't realistically be matched.
Yep, almost full build at just 30 minutes is ridiculous, frankly. He has 15,000 gold accumulated still. Around 4,000 more than anyone else in the entire game. He's just ludicrously ahead to a near unfathomable point. And while, I mean, running it down was working their way back in the game for quite a long time. They were getting good fights. They were getting good picks onto specifically Plant Daddy in particular. I mean, even if they give that Dragon there, it's still they're still in a pretty solid position to try and like play this one out to keep the gold lead close to really have a shot. But with this Baron, with the throw from Billy D, it's, I mean, you are on a heck of a back foot here for this next Dragon. As Hook does land onto 888, he will just take the Showstopper under the turret, trying to get onto J-Morgs, who blasts flying away as well. Revix in, taking the turret though, with the bullet time, has to flash. Speed was let down, finds him, and the kill. Just as I say, running it down, might have an uphill battle. They're taking it in stride as the Paranoia finally comes out, looking back on an extra radio. But that's not the target you want to hit, my guy. Star Wars Geeks falls. 888 still alive as he's looking for Comrade Blade. 888 does get entered, but so too does fall Plant Zaddy as 888 in level 18. Just trying to get away. Billy D as well, kiting back. Comrade playing, going in on TSB, but it is a Gallia with Tabby, so he is a little tanky. Billy D low, taunt used, root connects from Billy. Now Comrade Plane might have a chance to get a kill here. Billy D still has to be careful, and Comrade Plane, yeah, secures it. And ends up being a 4-for-1 in favor of running it down off of the hook from next to radio onto 888.
Kind of a strange exchange there. Just opposite of what we were all, or what I was predicting at least to happen. I think KKG is just not playing to their win condition. They're not playing for 888 and split push. They just keep trying to get these 5v5 dives when they can just realistically have him in the side lane with the Baron buff.
Yeah, now Baron is gone. Baron is done. They got one mid lane turret off of it, and Baron is gone. Out.
888 still has it for a little bit.
Yeah, he still has it for a little bit, but you're not going to level the silent. You're going to level silent. It's going to be the same as if he was side laning normally, essentially.
Yeah.
You're not getting any extra pressure off of this. And with him just looking to steal away Billy's camps and keep him down, it's not looking like it's getting better. I mean, that last fight, that was Star Wars Geek's turn to int his team as he took the Paranoia onto a Blitzcrank.
Completes the Hullbreaker, so now he realistically should never group.
Yeah, should never touch his team ever again.
But it looks like he will. Interestingly. Enders could be caught out here in the bot lane. Paranoia is onto him.
Nope, I am behind.
He goes down.
Yep, he goes down. I was a little
Not too
behind.
much to watch there.
Oh well. That will be
Not too much
probably
to watch.
Ocean Soul then for the side of KKG. I do not think that running it down is going to be able to stall the extra 10-ish seconds here for Ender to get back up and the extra 4 seconds after that for the TP to complete. So, I mean...
Unless we get another miracle steal from Billy here.
Yeah, TSB might be caught. My game stopped working though, so yeah. Stun comes through, there comes the root, but TSB is so tanky and has a stopwatch, so Combat Plane. Sacrificial Lamb, good! Ultimate from J-Morgs though! Gets 2, almost 3, but 888 grabs the kill and the shutdown, and that means that the fight is pretty much for naught. Combat Plane is going to do the best he can, but the calling will do better. And 888 grabs himself a triple.
Haymaker. Yeah, huge haymaker there. Did probably like over 2,000 true damage onto J-Morgs there.
That means Ocean Soul.
Ender's TPing in to try and salvage something, but it's too late.
Might look for an ulti on the plan side. Yep, gets 1 kill. Very nice.
I don't know if that will do anything, though.
No. Maybe it makes picking Lucian easier. That's about it. Lucian does have to be careful. This is a pretty strong Orianna at this point in the game. And if you're not getting a lot of auto attacks off, your Ocean Soul not doing too much in these trades. Either way, 888 is still... I think I actually had, after the MF ulti obliterated TSB and Star Wars Geeks, I think his Hullbreaker actually reactivated for the back half of that fight. So he did get value out of Hullbreaker in a team fight.
Kind of did, I guess. But now for sure he should just be in
Yeah.
the bot lane probably with his teleport.
Grouping there's fine. It's Ocean Soul. You definitely want to secure that for sure. There's no reason to give that over freely, so it will just be a Soul secured. Now, Soul not always in the game. We have seen many teams in PSU, LCS, and Worlds together lose with such Souls. Ocean included.
Yeah, I actually, contrary to like popular belief, I think Ocean Soul is situationally the second weakest or even the weakest one depending on team comp. Ocean Soul can be just countered by a lot of Grievous wins, but it does look like there's only one anti-tank or anti-heal on the side of running it down.
Yeah,
so it
looking
could be a little better than before, but I think Mountain is the strongest always. It's just always valuable having like, not even just like the shield, you just get like 20 like and 30 to 30 like more armor and MR. That's like so much value in stats alone.
Yep,
Infernal's next to
radio.
the stats and the damage.
Managed to get away from TSB. Now we're sending Enders to fight against 888. I'm just going to go for the non-interaction wave clear contest for this first push.
Yeah, that's probably what has to be done.
At this point,
But I
certainly
still
so.
think KKG should just start the Baron.
It looks like that is the plan. They're going to clear out all this vision, make sure there's no chance for an easy contest.
Yeah, I think this...
Oh, Paranoia.
kind of-
Yeah, try to pick Comrade Lane, who will flash to no avail. Player Daddy doesn't find anyone with the wave, just zones away, and 1 kill is secured. And TP from Aiden. into the
Very
top
interesting,
side. So
in
I
my
think
opinion.
you just go bot lane here and get an inhibitor, my guy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess running it down can try to contest. They have
They can certainly, they have Supreme Display Talent, they have Shock, but they have the bullet time. Aiden down to half, a little bit more than half HP already, but they're getting zoned away. As Billy D goes in, exhausted, taunted up and all alone. The bullet time not even close to in range as Enders take it out with the flash haymaker.
It was nice. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the teleport to just go to the bottom.
Yeah, he will look for the kills instead. Has Hull Breaker up, so he's getting the value out of it. That haymaker's not going to connect, and Jay actually whittling him down here slowly, but with TSB and Revix coming over, this fight is more than surely over. Next to radio, more than likely sacrifice to land. Revix is in, flash away from Jay, but he is going to go back into the fountain regardless. The trade of the GA for the side of Revix, who will grab the kill. And with that one, a wave to zone. And this should just be the game right here.
The collector builder has been purified. Very
Collector
good.
and Dominic's, the double stack.
Collector second.
Comrade played. Yeah, buddy. You tried to bring it back, but just as the game began, Aiden grabbed the kill. You Revix will fall as a consolation prize to Billy D. And KKG, it was a little rocky in the early game. For parts, or the mid game for parts of it with the team fighting, but now 2-0 victory over to the side of King Kong versus Godzilla.
Alright, on that electrocute damage, I'll try to check Josh. I don't know if I have planned setting on my friends list, so. 392, yeah. Really useless rune.
Whew. And with that one, KKG going to secure themselves a spot into the PSU LCS Fall 2021 semi-finals to play the winner of Skull Denters versus the Universe. If you want to interview, go ahead. We can throw you over. No problem. Can be done. It's
just
been a
join
little bit.
one of the voice chats in the PSU League of Legends server. We can move you in. Alright, Lucas is in the channel. If you could move him down.
Yep, I can do so in just a second. Updating a graphic. And let me make sure he can talk.
Hello.
He can talk. Outstanding.
Hello.
I can talk.
Congratulations on your win here, Lucas. How are you feeling after that one?
I'm feeling pretty good. I did my hardest to grief my teams a few times, but seemed to work out pretty well. They carried my old hands through it.
Yeah, so my question about the first game was, what inspired you to pick Vi? Just Arcane, or did you see like a professional player pick up Vi, or what?
Well, I played Vi for a few games, and her damage is pretty high, and she's also getting an Arcane skin soon, so I gotta practice just for that.
True. A very good reason in and of
Arcane
itself.
gaming.
Get any questions down?
In terms of both games, I mean, you had first game. There honestly isn't much to talk about because it was what we call playing catch, where you guys were just kind of throwing to each other, and whoever threw the last one finally lost the game. When the other player held the ball for long enough. So that one was a bit of an interesting one. In terms of game two, however, I mean, you had the early lead. You get the first blood kill off the brush cheese. Very, very nice.
That was pretty good.
Gets a massive lead, and then what ends up happening in the mid game with your guys in terms of like team comms or decision making, where running it down, they got two very good team fights on you guys from a position where they should have had no business doing so.
So we read their name and we said, well, somebody's got to get the roll credits moment going. So we decided to run it down a little bit, and we fulfilled the prophecy.
I see.
And
yeah,
then,
my last question is, was there any reason that you guys weren't just having Aiden split in the bot lane while you guys just do the Baron? Or were you just trying to have a little fun?
I think we wanted just to have everybody there because we didn't know if they'd come for us again, because we didn't want to just like die like we had during the entire mid game when it was just 4 of us. but
All right.
seemed to go pretty well.
Any more questions though? I got none.
Not really. I mean, congratulations, guys. I
Yeah,
can look to your
congrats.
question on the future a little bit, looking ahead at some upcoming matchups. Get your opinion on it, because we do have a few more games going to be streamed here tonight. One of which on the main channel at 9 should be Deathcap for Cutie versus Mitmock's team down there on the lower side of the bracket. But I mean, you guys have now beaten your White Conference competitors. Is a matchup we have seen now several times this year.
Yeah,
Universe
it was pretty good.
Skulldenters, two Blue Conference teams, neither of which you have played. Who are you looking at?
Yeah,
Who are you looking at? Do you think you're gonna be playing that time around? Skulldenters did get the number 1 seed in the Blue Conference, but Universe no slouch either down there.
I
So
definitely think we'll probably end up against the Skull Denters is what I would bet my money on. But I'm pretty sure playing against Mr. Chimp Season will be a blast, win or lose. He's
True.
always a blast to play with or play against. So
the
I
one
think
game
it'll
you
be. I think it'll be a match of who's going for the world record for PSU LCS number of deaths in a series.
perhaps it'll be a Volibear Tech game.
Indeed, bring
it
it out.
is
The
Chip
forbidden
Season
one.
games are the one games you never mute all chat for. Never mute all chat when you play Chip Season. It will be a comedy performance.
Indeed.
Very good for mental. And then, yeah, I mean, that's all I have question-wise. Thank you for your opinion
Yeah,
Of course.
in that one.
Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
2-0. We'll be looking to see you guys next week.
Indeed. Good luck in your match tonight.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
thank
much,
you.
sir.
It should be a banger.
Indeed.
We shall make it so. All right, thank you
Right.
very much.
Yep.
All right, and on that note, post Star Wars Geek interview, just gonna go over a few matchups again. Matchups tonight: Deathcap for Cutie versus Mitmock on the main channel here on PSA League at 9 p.m. Game start time. It's gonna be the number 3 seed from White Conference versus the number 2 seed from Blue Conference, who is considered to be upset for the number 1 seed, if I'm not mistaken, from how that ended up playing out. And then we also have the Zoo versus Limit Test, by the way, as well as Skulldenters and Universe. And I believe Skulldenters Universe is at 8 p.m.
Yeah, I think both of them are at 8 p.m. Then our game is at 9.
Yeah, the 9 p.m. is definitely being cast on the main channel. We're going to try to find some casters for the other two, but we'll have to see how that one rolls out. So until next time, get you guys back on the Rift here on Penn State League.